Hey guys, and welcome back to our channel. If you're feeling creative or bored, you've come to the right place. Today, I'm going to be showing you how I've made a completely custom DIY dog lead for my dog Bella. It was fairly simple to do, and I think the results look great. Here is everything that you'll need to get started with this project. Now, the great thing about Paracord is there are so many different colours to choose from. I've gone for army green and coyote brown Paracord, and then I'm using gold accents. Now you've got everything that you need, let's get into making the leash. So the first item you need to get is the 10mm thick rope, and we're going to lay it out flat and measure it. There are two ways you can measure this out. First of all, you can lay the rope flat and use a tape measure to measure out the length that you like. Or a way that I would recommend is if you already have a dog lead that you like the length of, you can use that to compare. Just make sure you leave enough room for the loop for the handle and the loop for the clasp. So now you know roughly how long you want your lead to be. The next thing we need to decide is how big of a loop we want for the handle. It needs to be big enough that we can get our hands through, and also leave enough space for an overlap where we're going to tie the handle. This is a good point to check the length of the lead. Unfortunately, you can't make it any longer now, but you can make it shorter still. Okay, so the next step is to secure the end caps. To do this, I'm going to peel back the outer strands to reveal the inner core. And I'm going to cut away about 1.5 centimeters of the inner core. Now that you have done that, regather the outer strands and twist them at the top. Because we are using 10mm rope and 10mm end caps, we needed to make the end of the cord smaller so that it fit nicely into the end cap. For the next step, we're going to need pliers, an end cap, and a lighter. The first thing we're going to do is melt the ends of the strands using the lighters. This will stop them from fraying. Now the ends of the rope will be hot after you've melted them, so you might not want to use your fingers. Instead, maybe use pliers. We're going to use the lighter to melt the strands, and then we're going to twist the strands into the correct shape so that they fit nicely into the end cap. Once you're happy with how the end cap fits, we're going to super glue it on. We're going to put a little bit of super glue in the top of the end cap and round the side so that it makes a good bond with the end of the rope. Now we have to work quickly here because super glue does dry very quickly, and we also need to be very careful not to get it on contact with our skin. Lovely. Now we're going to repeat those steps on the other end of the cord. So we're going to peel back the outer strands, we're going to cut away 1.5 centimeters, then using the outer strands we're going to melt them so that they don't fray, and we're going to keep melting them and twisting them until they're the shape that we want to fit in the end cap. Once we're happy with the shape, we're going to super glue the end cap. Ta-da! Now we have 2 end caps and our rope is ready to be tied. I'm going to do the handle first. We need to leave enough room for our hand to fit through the loop and enough overlap so that we can tie the smaller cord around to secure the handle. So for this step you're going to need pliers, the smaller paracord, and super glue. The pliers are just to help you tie the knots tightly. Where the rope overlaps, we're going to put a couple beads of super glue along that edge. Then we're going to press the 2 parts of the rope firmly together and hold still while the glue forms a bond. Although the super glue is strong, it won't be strong enough to secure the handle. We're going to loop the smaller paracord around this overlap to secure it even tighter. For the handle, you need to measure out 200 centimeters of length of paracord. For the clasp, you'll only need 100 centimeters because it's a smaller knot. Now we're going to do a common whipping knot. I will show you how to get started. First of all, you're going to lay your cord in the middle of your rope, and you need to create a loop and a tail. Then, using the longest length of rope, you're going to wrap it around, over the top and then under. The first few wraps can be a little bit tricky. To help, I use my right thumb to always apply pressure to the rope. Then when I come back over the top, I use my middle finger on my left hand to keep the rope secure so that I can release the pressure of my right thumb and then replace it again. Let me show you that a little bit slower. My right thumb is always applying pressure. Then when I'm ready, I'm going to use my middle finger to push down on the cords along the top, which means I can now release my thumb and put the cord underneath and replace my thumb again. And then I just keep repeating that. Okay, so now I'm at the halfway point, and I'm just going to flip the lead over and make sure that it's nice and neat on both sides. And at this point, I'm going to swap hands. So my left hand now is going to be keeping the pressure on the rope, and my right hand is going to do all the wrapping. It's a little bit easier on this side because you don't have to pass the rope all the way under the lead, you can just pass it under the handle. Okay, so we're coming up to the last few wraps now, and I'm just going to check that it's nice and neat. Before we cut away the excess cord, we want to tighten the knot. First of all, we need to work out which strands we need to pull to tighten the knot. The loop has two halves. One half of the loop is connected to the tail. We need to work out which one that is. Slowly pull the tail a little bit, and you'll see the loop will start to get smaller and which half of the loop is starting to disappear into the knot. If we accidentally pull the half of the loop which is connected to the tail, we could end up pulling the whole tail through the knot, and we wouldn't be able to tighten it, so we'd have to start again. Now we've worked out which part of the loop is connected to the tail, we're going to pull the other half of the loop tightly with our pliers. This will tighten the whole knot from the left to the right from the strands at the start. Now we're going to feed through the working end of our cord through the loop. The working end is the end we've been wrapping around the lead this whole time. Okay, now we can pull the tail. When we pull on the tail, it means that the loop and the working end will neatly tuck away. It's a good idea to use your pliers at this time because it can be quite difficult to pull the loop through. Alrighty, so now that our knot is nice and tight, the next step would be to cut the cord on both ends, and then using a lighter we're going to melt the ends of the cord so that it doesn't fray, and then I just use a blade to push down on the ends to stick them down. So the handle feels nice and secure now. We need to repeat all of those steps for the little loop for the clasp. Make sure you thread your clasp onto the lead before we superglue it. So we're going to follow the exact same steps like we did for the handle. First thing we're going to do is we're going to superglue along one edge of the overlap, and we're going to hold that down until the glue is nice and secure. The next thing we're going to do is use a smaller paracord to use a common whipping knot. Let me show you how to get started. So you're going to lay the cord in the middle of the rope, and you need to create a tail and a loop. Then using the long end of the cord, you're going to wrap it over and under a few times, using your thumb to keep pressure on the knot as you go. When you get to the end, we need to work out which half of the loop is connected to the tail and make sure we don't pull on that side. Instead, we're going to pull on the opposite side to tighten the loop from the left to the right. Pliers will make this a little bit easier. And you're going to thread the working end of your cord through the loop, and now you can pull on the tail. When you pull on the tail, the loop and the working end of the cord will neatly tuck and hide away underneath the knot, like so. To finish it off, all you need to do is cut both ends of the cord, and using a lighter you're going to melt the end of the cord so that they don't fray, and I'm just using a blade to push down and stick these in place. And there you have it, a unique, completely custom dog lead which you made yourself. I can't wait to see what colour options you guys go for. Please share it with us on our Instagram account @pitchandpaws. Thank you for watching. I hope the video was informative and it kept you busy for a little bit. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and enjoy this lovely footage of Bella enjoying her new lead. Oh, I almost forgot to mention, we made a matching collar for her as well. There's another video detailing how you could make one of those as well. Check out the link below.